Good evening, everybody. So, in the last lecture, we basically talked about what is academic research, what is academic writing, and what are types of research that we do when we conduct any kind of survey or use any kind of questionnaire or do an in-depth study of any subject to know about them. So that was in brief what we did last week. Any questions, any queries, any doubt about it? If there is, you can ask Aida and Ishak.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No
Okay.
question, no question so far.
Okay. So, have you guys started working on your first assignment?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. No problems in that?
So far, no problems.
Okay. What about you, Shaq?
I haven't started yet. Probably from tomorrow I'll be starting.
No worries. It's okay. Still now everything is clear, right? So today we'll be covering second unit of a subject where we'll be basically talking about what is information and what is evidence when we talk about research, what is a research process in detail, and what is the difference between primary and secondary research. The first thing is different sources of information and evidence. When we say information, it is any kind of knowledge that you have related to any subject, any object that you are aware of. It does not have to be 100% correct, but it's just something that you know. And when we talk about evidence, we basically talk about facts and figures which can support any kind of findings. In research, both of them are very important, but we basically put a very high evidence on evidences because when we write a research paper, we use a lot of facts, figures, mathematical formulas, statistics, information from news, any kind of journals, conferences. So basically, if we talk about today, we are in a digital era where we have a lot of information available through Google, through Microsoft Copilot, through any kind of AI that we use. But not all the information are correct or credible. But when we talk about academics and business, we basically put a very high emphasis on the quality and credibility of the information that we have. So if we are putting any kind of information, if we're putting any kind of numbers in a research paper, we have to make sure that they are correct and they're credible. Basically, we use three types of sources when we talk about evidence in research. One is academic and scholarly sources, where basically we talk about books, journals, papers that are available that already has somebody published. Then talk about professional industry sources. It's basically the information or reports that somebody from an industry, like let's say you're looking at a marketing report. So somebody who is very good in marketing, is an expert in marketing, has written that report based on existing data. And third, we talk about these popular sources like information available in newspapers, magazine, online on Google website, on Wikipedia, all these things. So first thing that we have is called academic sources. These are basically research evidences that are produced by researchers, academicians, and experts in a very specific field. They have gone through a very strong review by experts in the field before publication. So when we talk about academic sources, we look for things that are peer reviewed. It means that you have submitted a paper or an article in a journal or in a book publication. What will happen that there will be 10 to 15 people panel that will go through an information, make sure that you have not plagiarized any kind of content, all the grammars are correct, all the sources that you have cited in references are correct, then only they'll accept that paper. So that's called peer review, where people from the same industry or from same field review your research in a very rigorous way. It's called peer reviewed. The second thing that they consider is that either it's original work, or you have done a very deep analysis on the topic. Third is a very silent rule, like people do not say it out, but if you have somebody as a co-author who is either a professor or a researcher or somebody who has more than 5 to 6 year experience, it will be easy for you to publish. Fourth is that all the references and biographies, bibliographies that you've given, all the paper you have cited, all the books you have cited, they are correct. And last thing they keep in mind is formal language. You're not using any kind of jargons, any kind of grammar mistakes are there. So these are 5 things that academic sources have. They are peer reviewed, they are based on original research, credible authors, you include all kind of references, and it is written in formal language. Then, for example, if you want to talk about it, you can say Harvard Business Review Journal or Journal of Marketing. There are certain books that we refer to, like Oxford Press books, conference papers, or any master or PhD dissertation thesis that you can come across. So all these things come into the list of academic sources. So when you're searching for new management theory, you can just go and look for it in the academic journal or a book or a conference paper or any thesis that is available in the university or even online. Let me show you how you can go through it. So let's say here I want to find a master thesis on.
I had a question.
Yes.
Like, when should we start the assignment? Like, from when?
Sorry, Farhan. What did you say? Please, can you repeat
Like,
it?
from when we will start the assignment? When we start doing the assignment?
You can start it like a few people have started for assignment. You can do your assignment and submit it for review. Like you can submit a draft till 12th of July. Okay. You can
Okay.
also submit before that so that I can go through it and I'll send it back to you with review, and then you can update your assignment and send it back for the final review.
Okay.
Okay. Draft assignment last date is 12th July and final submission date is 16th July. Okay. So I was saying, okay, let's look at the master's thesis on business management. So I open one master's thesis, which is available online. Okay. So it's a master's thesis on the topic organization structure, how to offer a product service system. So it is submitted by Lars in a University of Twente. So what did they do? This is the title of the thesis. If you look at title, it tells you that basically the study is on product service system and customer services. So this is the topic. This is the preface. It's basically telling you why they did search, who was it, who was there. This is that we write in the last. That's called abstract. You write it when you are done the whole paper or thesis. So in abstract, we basically write the summary of our whole research. Like we introduce a little about introduction, a little about literature review, and a lot about the research that you've got. Below the abstract, we use keywords. Basically, keywords are the words that helps other people to find research related to your topic. Here, if you can see product service offering is the keyword. Same keyword is used in the title. Same way, organizational structure is a keyword. Same has been used in the title. Here they have used research called case study research. Second thing we see is a literature review. It's basically the research that has already been done and they're quoting it. Third part is methodology, like what methodology they have used to write the thesis. Fourth is result. Fifth is conclusion. Sixth is discussion. And seventh is what is the limitation of research that they have not covered. And last thing is what is the future implication, what is left behind by them, and what can happen in the future with them. So this is a kind of academic resource which somebody, a student, has written and published. Similarly, other sources also have other things. Let me share my screen. Yes. Then second source we have is called professional source. Basically, it's a real world insight. In academic research, it's all something that has that is basically related to academics or institutional education. Here in professional sources, it is basically created by organizations, different professionals who are using that for practical application with a specific sector. So, if we talk about its characteristics, it's basically produced by experts. So, it's not always peer reviewed. Academic sources are always peer reviewed, but professional sources are maybe sometimes peer reviewed, but mainly it's produced by experts. So, they are the author, and it's not that rigorously seen through. Second, it focus a lot on trends, what is happening, what will happen in the future, what is the practical application on any subject. It has a commercial interest. It means basically the reports that are produced are often used in business market or different organizations to talk about profit analysis or to talk about what product will be famous in the future. So these professional sources have a purpose in terms of money. Academic resources are basically used for research purposes. And one most important thing that is better in this is that it's more new than academic sources. What happens if you go and search for some papers related to, let's say, Chat GPT? You will see those papers are either 1 month old, 2 month old, or years old. But if you look for a professional report, you see it's either a 3 days off, 1 day, maybe 1 week old. So these are more current than academic resources. They are not peer reviewed and but have practical applications and commercial interest. Let's find a report to show you all. Okay, so here is the report. So somebody has published that report in the Journal of Business and Financial Affairs. Here, if you look, there is no abstract, and the title is very simple: A Report on Business Management, and it's published by the University Indonesia. So this report is a one page. The thesis that we saw before, it was hundreds of pages. Too much information, everything was there. Like all the information that was included was from years and years old. They have used those for reference. Then the method was there, conclusion was there, future inclusion was there. Here they have simply defined what is the problem, described it in a little, and then given a very small conclusion and a few references that they have used to write this report. And that's it. So business report is very smaller than academic resource, more practical, giving information. It's more focused on money and commercial use than research use that academic sources are basically used for. Similarly, you can find some reports online to get an idea, but this is how it works. The next we have is so this is the basic difference between academic and professional sources. Then we have, for example, you can talk about industry report that I just showed you. You can also see industry reports from different companies, like we have Gartner, we have here Deloitte. You can also look for publications, especially by trade publications or in magazines like Economist, Financial Times. You can also look for certain company annual reports or government publications where they have shared certain statistics or data. So, for example, if you need current market size data for the e-commerce sector, you can just look at an industry report rather than looking at a research paper. Because in terms of research paper, you have to look at 50, 60 papers. In terms of report, you can also work with one or two reports. Then third we have is popular sources. It basically means any general information or opinion that is available either in digital form or in paper form. This is basically available for general audience. So academic sources are for academicians, researchers, and industry professionals. Professional sources are for industry professionals and experts in the field. And popular sources are for generally everybody. So anybody can access this. No peer review is there. Author might be expert, might not be expert. Quality is not guaranteed. Language is very simple, but it's very engaging so that you get interested in reading what is happening. Main point is it can be highly biased, and the information shared is can have a high risk of being inaccurate. For example, the news you read in entertainment corners, or you listen to it on entertainment news anchors. Like, okay, this happened today. He got married to somebody else. Somebody died. They adopted a child. All the information that does not have any kind of support, any kind of evidence, and it's not monitored by anybody. Newspaper articles, magazine articles, blogs, personal websites, Wikipedia, social media posts, all these information sources are not guaranteed or credible. Because while a general news article might inform you about what is happening in a company, it will not provide you with any kind of in-depth knowledge that you'll find in a report or a research paper. And the highest thing is this Wikipedia. This is very dangerous because anybody can go and just edit information there. Then we have a technique that is called craft technique. So basically, we use this to test if the information that we have is correct, accurate, credible or not. So we have certain critical questions when we check the integrity of the sources that we have. What is currency? Uh, it basically means how current is the information that is published or posted. Is it up to date or not? Like if somebody has posted a food on, let's say, USA and China trade war. So all the information that they have been shared, is it correct? Is the tariff rates correct or not? Second check is relevance. Does the information that has been shared is related to topic? Is it appropriate for the topic? Does it answer the question or not? Third, we check his authority. I told you, is the author a credible one? What is the qualification? Are they just somebody wanted bloggers, or they have proper qualifications to be there to writing the report? Fourth, to check is the accuracy. Is the information correct? Is there any evidence that supports the information? Can we verify that? Can we rely on it? Are there any biases or any errors or any mistakes that are there? Is the data correct? Fifth thing is look at its purpose. Basically, why was the information published? It is for to inform, to produce, to sell things, or for entertainment only. For example, if a company's press release aims to basically present the company in a very positive light. So if something happens, the stock price doesn't go down. So that's why it's called CAP. C for currency, R for relevance, A for authority, A for accuracy, and P for purpose. When we keep in mind all these five criteria, then only we can use the information as a credible information and include that in our research purposes. Now, a lot of people think like, why credibility matters? Why should I go through all this and look at the source? Why not? I can use other information directly as I have it. Because basically, if you use credible sources, first of all, it decreases a lot of biased opinions that you might have for the topic. Second, it helps you in carrying out a very neutral tone while writing down, and it helps you in avoiding any kind of plagiarism or copying to ensure that your academic integrity is maintained. When a source is credible, data is credible, you can come to accurate findings. So the information that you share is accurate and up to date. Third thing is effective decision making. Basically, all the data, all the sources, credibility, reliability, it all helps you in making effective decisions. So that all the pros and cons are keep in mind. Fourth thing is reputation. Obviously, if your quality of work is low, it will have an impact on the reputation you have either in the field or in the academics. What can be the pitfalls for unreliable sources? Obviously, it can be misinformation. It can lead you to make poor decisions, and your credibility and integrity might be damaged. For example, would you invest your money based on a random social media post or based on a financial analyst comprehensive report? So, if you want to buy some stock, maybe, or you want to buy bitcoins, to buy the stocks or bitcoins, you obviously will look for trends from financial reports and magazines. You will not go for social media blogger who is a self-claimed financial expert and follow his advice. So that was all about information and evidence. We talked about three kinds of academic sources. Academic sources that are basically uh, produced by researchers, academicians, peer-reviewed, are for information purposes based on research and use a lot of references and formal language. Then talked about professional sources, which are basically written by the experts in the field or created by the organization, are often have commercial value and are more current and new than academic resources, but they're not often peer reviewed. Then we have popular sources, which is basically general information, can be accessed by anybody and everybody, is mainly used for entertainment and for purposes, rarely peer reviewed, no credible author, very simple language, very biased. Then we have a CRAP test, which basically currency, relevance, authority, accuracy, and purpose, which we all use all five to check if the source that we're using is credible or not. And it's very important to maintain academic integrity, reputation, to reach reliable conclusion, and to make effective decisions. Then second thing we have is research process. It means what are the different steps that we go through while we write a paper. So when we talk about research, we are the doesn't research doesn't mean just googling things up or just finding an answer to a question. Research means you're basically following a step by step process where you're discovering new things or rediscovering things that are already there in a different manner. We use a process because it helps you in being objective, and all the findings that you have will be reliable, that can be replicable over a period of time. At least things we talk about is basically from getting an idea to presenting a finding in a research paper. So a different step. First step is that defining the search question or problem. To do a research, you first need to know what are you looking for. So that's like the first and the most basic concept that is there in research. What is the key action we do is first we find a topic, like what are you interested in or what you think needs problem solving. Here we have given example of, for example, impact of remote work on employee productivity. I just want to see if my employees are working from home, let's say 3 days a week, 3 days a week and 3 days they are working from office. What is the impact of working from home on their productivity? Are they more productive? Are they less productive? So I will refine it into a question. This is a topic, but I would like to change it into a question. How will I make it a question? I will make it a question in form of SMART goals. SMART goal means the goal is specific, something that can be measurable, achievable, relevant, and is time bound. So if I, let's say I create a question, okay, how does remote work affect companies? That's a very broad question that might not, that does not follow the SMART rule. Like it's not very specific, and I don't know how many companies are involved, or if I can solve it in a certain period of time. So it does not mean the SMART goals. But I will change the question and rewrite it in a better way. Let's see what is the impact of a hybrid work model on job satisfaction of employees in the IT sector in India during this. So basically what I'm doing here, I'm specifying the sample, the time frame, the industry, the variable that I'm measuring, basically the job satisfaction, and what is the treatment I'm giving, hybrid work. So this question make it through the SMART goal. Second, it tells you what you're looking for, because here you're basically specifying what industry you're looking for, what is the time frame, what kind of employees, will you be measuring, all the things are available. So that's how you create a research question. You have a single topic first and then you refine it based on SMART goal. Second thing you do after this is you establish an objective. Here, if I'm saying, okay, what is the impact? To make an objective, first what I'll write is to find out or to evaluate the impact of hybrid work model on the job satisfaction of employee in the IT sector during 2023-2024. So basically, I literally refined it a little bit, added to, and added the word evaluate, which means I want to measure it, and it's changed into an objective. Second thing we do is uh, we look for the already available information that is there, which is the going through process called literature review. It's basically systematic researching of existing any scholarly articles, professional works that is related to my research question. For example, let's search for this only. Let's do it. So here I have this question: impact of hybrid work model on job satisfaction. As we told you before, we sometimes use keywords to find things that we want to find. Let's say one of my keyword is job satisfaction. Second, my keyword is IT sector. So I have two keywords here. Let's go to a database where a lot of research papers are there, and let's try and finding how many research papers are available for these two research terms. So the first research term we had was job satisfaction. Here. Then I'll use and. Second term I had was second term I had was IT sector. So when I search for these two terms, I use AND, that is a Boolean operator, which connects two variables together. This is a database by US. It's called PubMed. You can also use it later for research purposes. So when I search job satisfaction IT sector, I can see there are 1,333 results available. Now all these results might suit my criteria, might not suit my criteria. So what I will do, I'll go a little below and see what filters are available. What information can be filtered through all these things. So here the research is available for last 49 years. I don't need that kind of information. I'm only looking for IT sector. So IT sector has changed a lot in last 10 years. Let's say I want to see last 10 years research. So the research came out to 741. It has decreased almost half. Next, I want to see case reports. I only want to see case reports. Okay. Here I can see there is no case report that is available. So now I have 741 data. So this is my literature bank, which basically means that I have all the sources at one place, and I can use this to find out what next. You can also use additional filters, like there are a lot of filters available. I want English language, so results are decreased to 712. You can also restrict it to male, female, adult or aged people, any kind of. So okay, let's say adults. And IT sector is obviously famous for. So when I say adults, there are only 267 results. So now I have a research bank of 267 articles that I can use to work on my research paper. These 267 articles might not all be related to it, but this is the basic which I'll go through to find what is happening there. So what I'll do, I'll do is I'll basically export everything to a Excel file, and I'll show you what kind of information you can get without going through the whole research papers. If I go through all the 267 research papers one by one, I might not even able to clear it in like months or even. Yes, Jack? You have raised your hand.
I think sometimes we're having problem with the microphone. It's sometimes your voice is not clear.
Okay. Is it clear now?
Yeah, it's good, but sometimes it's missing. Yeah, so it's kind of hard for us to hear. For now, it's okay.
Okay. Uh, is it same with everybody, or is it network issue? Farhan, Raida, and
Yes, ma'am. It happens sometimes.
oh, do let me know when it happens. Okay. I think it might be a network issue. Okay. So I was saying basically went and this is a database, okay, where I took two keywords that were there in the question. One was job satisfaction, other was IT sector. When I searched it, I came across 1,333 papers. Now I cannot go through all those papers together. So what I did, I added some filters. I said I only want to look for articles published in the last 10 years, which are in English and which are basically on adult. So here I came to 267 results. Now I have 267 results as a literature bank on which I can write a paper and I can find what kind of gap is there in my literature where I can work on. So my question was, what is the impact of hybrid work on job satisfaction among IT employees? So I have exported it. Let me show you what kind of file I get. Okay. So this is the file I got from the PubMed database. Now in this, if you look at the result, first thing is title, then who has written it, how do I cite it in references, who is the first author, what is the book or journal where it has been published, what year, and what where is it available as a form of whole paper. This is DOI's digital object identifier. If you search for it, it will lead you to whole paper. Right now, I don't need whole paper. I'll just go through titles and see which title suits my research. So first, I'm looking at job satisfaction and regulation in the aged care sector. So it does not mean my criteria because I'm only focusing on IT sector. Second is also public health, does not meet my criteria. I'll skip it. So what I'll do, I'll basically looking for my two keywords that I was searching for, and that's how I'll decrease my literature bank. So once I'm done with all these titles and deletions, out of 237, I will only have maybe 50 or 60 articles left. So those 50 and 60 articles will be my literature review. Rest, I am not looking at anything else. So that's how you do a literature review in brief. Don't worry, all these recordings are shared on module, okay? So you guys can always go through it later and just follow the step-by-step process. And you can also create a question bank and literature bank later. So third step is designing a methodology. It basically means after you're done with literature review, now you have a literature which supports your idea of what is happening with job satisfaction in IT sector for people especially who are engaged in hybrid work. So research methodology basic means that how are you planning to answer the question that you have. So you had a question of how hybrid work affects the job satisfaction of IT people. So how will you answer the question is including the methodology part. The first is what approach you will use. Last week we talked about three approaches. One is quantitative approach, which basically talks about numbers. Quantitative, which basically talks about in-depth study, and mixed methods, which combines both. So you have to choose one based on what kind of research you're looking for. Here we are looking for quantitative because we're talking about job satisfaction and we want on IT sector. So yes, Isha, and if yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, it's the same microphone issue. Like a little bit, we couldn't hear you for the last couple of seconds.
Let me give me a second.
It's kind of we're getting the effect like you're speaking far away from the microphone. It's kind of like that. I don't think it's
Let me
network issue.
reconnect my headphones. I think that's about. Just give me a second. Or journals. There are some consideration that you have to take. One is ethical consideration, which means that you have to ensure that whatever information you are taking from people, like if you're asking for their opinion or if you're asking for certain questions, you have to make sure that all these are done after you have taken a consent from them. So you are telling them that, okay, this is the question that I have. Are you okay with it? And you will not share any kind of information that you have collected from them to a third party without permission. Then second thing you have to keep in mind is that what kind of money is involved, what kind of time is involved, and who will have the access to the information that you're collecting. And that all the information that you have is reliable and valid. So when you design the methodology, there itself only you have to decide what kind of data methods you can use, what kind of collection method you can use, and from whom you're collecting the information from. If you're looking for information from IT employees, you have to make sure that you are not asking sensitive information that is related to the company, and it's more of opinion-based research. So again, you can here use survey, interview. In interviews, we have three kinds of interview: structured method, semi-structured method, or unstructured method. Structured method means you have all the question list that you have with you, and you'll ask strictly question to the list only. Semi-structured means that you have certain question written, but you're open to ask other question also. And unstructured means that it's a very open interview. There's no question. You can just go with the flow. Then you can work on observation. You can just observe what is happening, or you can access existing database or research for a secondary research. Fifth step we have is analyzing data, which basically means you have taken data now. First thing you'll do is you will clean the data and put it in an Excel sheet. Now that Excel data is the data that you have that you're going to use for data analysis. So if you want to look for any kind of relationship between the variables, you will use correlation method. For example, I want to see what is the relationship between ice cream sale and summer. So if you want to predict anything in the future, you will use regression method. If I want to see, okay, how many people will use ChatGPT in 2026, then I'll use regression. So these are statistical methods that we use for data analysis. And these methods are done through software like Excel, SPSS, R programming, or Python. R and Python basically are used with coding. SPSS and Excel are used with the data that you have put in Excel file. You can just upload these two files here in these softwares and you can get the results. This was the quantitative method. If you're looking for something qualitative, that is, you have a case report, you want to search for that. So first you have to see the patterns that are there in audio or text data or video data, and you can do a thematical content analysis. And for these software, you have to use software like NVivo or Atlas. These are not, this is basically qualitative data analysis, more, you can say harder than you can run through and you just know that, okay, 30% people are doing this, 40% people are doing this. In content thing, you have to use a lot of brain first. Second, it's very easy to get biased or influence the data they have collected. So a lot of people, when they go for research, they use for quantitative data only because it's easy and it's more effective and reliable. Sixth thing you do is after data collection is you present that findings in form of a research paper. Present findings mean all the research that you have, you're answering the question that you had. So the question was, how does hybrid work affects the job satisfaction of IT sector people? So that's the question you will answer. Next, after answering the question, you can you can give some recommendation. Like, okay, if I say hybrid work does not affect that much, it's the work from office that affects. So I can suggest some recommendation like they can work from home more, or they can take more holidays. Then I will acknowledge any kind of limitation or weakness that was there in my study, or what can other researchers do in future research. So that's how we do a research. One is we ask a question based on SMART goals. Then we conduct a literature review based on the question that we have. Based on the literature review, we'll select a research approach that we want to use to answer the question. It can be qualitative, quantitative, or mixed method. Then we'll select a research design, what kind of sample we have, and what will be the data collection method. After data collection method, I'll decide what kind of analyzation I want to do. Do I want to do quantitative data analysis, for which we can use numbers and Excel and SPSS software, or I want to do a qualitative analysis, for which I use thematic analysis or software like NVivo and Atlas. Last step is reporting my findings. What did I found? How my answer is answering the question or not? Then is there any kind of limitation that was there? Any kind of recommendation I can give to future researchers? And what can be future directions that somebody can use? Third topic we have is primary and secondary research. So basically, primary search means something new you're looking for, original data, specifically from your question. Secondary research means you're basically going through 60, 70 papers that are already there. You're summarizing that paper in the form of a new paper and you're doing a secondary research where there's no contribution or new data that is being given by you. So for primary research, we basically gather first-hand data from the source itself, from people or from companies or from other sources. When I talk about advantages, first of all, it is very specific to your research question. You're not deliberately looking for a long time. You're asking the right questions. It's up to date, current. You have the control over what kind of data collection method you use and how is the quality of your data. And whatever result will come out will be unique to you and is not available anywhere else. But the disadvantage is also a lot. First of all, it's time consuming and it will cost you money. Obviously, it can be expensive and it requires you to have expertise in the research method or data collection method that you use to collect the research. And there is a potential that it might be biased because you are the one who is interpreting the data. The common methods that you have for primary research is surveys. Basically, we use questionnaires to collect data from a sample, or interviews, which is basically one-to-one conversations. Then we have focus group, basically group discussions that you conduct to explore what is the opinion or belief of a group of people. Observation, which you observe a phenomena and what is happening. And experiments means I'm testing is the cause and effect relationship exists between two variables. In secondary research, basically you're using existing data, there is no new research. So advantage obviously, first thing it's very cost effective and time saving. You're not wasting one person, you're just opening, Googling, you're going through databases and collecting information like we just did through PubMed. And there's a lot of data available and it allows you. Second, you have is obviously there are certain disadvantages. So it first of all, it might not be specific to your research question. Obviously, you're looking for information, but that information might not match the question that you have. It can be outdated. All the data quality and methodology is not controlled by you. So, what are the advantages of primary research? Are disadvantages in secondary research? And what are disadvantages in primary research? Are basically the advantage of secondary research. So, you have to choose which evil you would like to have, secondary or primary, depending on the type of questions you want to answer. Secondary research also has basic common source like academic journals, publications, industry reports, online databases like the one that we went through, PubMed. You also have JSTOR, you have Abesco, there are Scopus, there are Statista. There are a lot of online databases you can go through. So when to use which strategy, it depends on a lot of things. First is in initial stages, we often use secondary research to do our literature review and understand and identify what gap is there. If you want to find specific insights, primary research is very much necessary. If you have any constraints on budget or time, secondary research is generally faster and a lot cheaper. But primary research do requires a significant investment. So you have to decide on all this based on all these things that okay, what kind of research you want to go through. Similarly, primary research can offer you a very qualitative insights, but secondary research offers you a broader perspective. A lot of people use both combined, like in a thesis or research paper. We first use secondary research for a literature review, and then we use primary research for methodology and all. So there are six things that to keep in mind when you decide what you want to choose. Initial stages, we use secondaries. Specific insights, we use primary research. Budget and time, depth and breadth, these four things. So primary is basically collecting your own data through methods like survey, interview, focus group, conversations, observations, and experimentations. Secondary research is basically using existing data that's available online through academic journals, databases, government publications, different online bases, industry reports, and any kind of news articles and websites that are there. So that was about primary and secondary research data. So that was the three topics that we covered today. First was information and evidence and what are different sources of that. Then talked a little bit about research process and then talked a little bit about primary and secondary research. Any question till here? Anything that guys did not get, didn't understand? Okay, Fahad has raised. Yes, Fahad?
If I may ask, is there can you
Hmm.
tell me the best platforms to research about anything? Like,
Okay.
if I can use ChatGPT, I guess, but I'm not interested using it.
Okay.
I wanna really research about it. So the best places to
Okay.
research about it, any specific
What
places
is your
or is just
topic?
random?
Like, is there any field that
I'm
you
not
would like to
I'm not
research
sure
in?
about it still.
Okay.
I'm not
Uh,
sure about it. Just I'm asking
hmm.
if there's a
Okay.
specific popular places to research about.
There are lots of popular places. Like right now, you're not sure about the field. That's fine. But we do have databases that are field specific. Okay. Like if you want to search for medical, we generally go for PubMed because that's a national health database from US. So a lot of research, good research in the world is there. It's called PubMed, PUBMED. I'll share the screen only. I'll show you the platforms also. So the first thing you have is PubMed. This is the PubMed. Here you can find information about biomedical literature, medline literature, any kind of clinical studies you want to look for related to health, related to hospitality, related to psychology, sociology. You find a lot of research here. You just have to write the topics that you want to research, like I did, job satisfaction. Then I used a connector that is and let's say second is burnout. If you search it like this, it will show you a lot of results. Here it can show me 1600 results. You can do two things here. You can further decrease the test, or you can just click on this free full text. It means that only the paper which is freely available online will be displayed here. So, like one paper is here is job selection and burnout syndrome among ICU nurses. If I connect on it, it is basically showing me the abstract and keywords. If I click on this elsewhere topic, it will take me to the full paper. Here is the full paper. So this is PubMed. You can use PDF also. One is PubMed. Second, you can use is called Dimensions. Dimensions is basically related to management, engineering studies, and IT. You can also find it here. Here you can see government, non-profit, industry, pharmacology, and any kind of research analysis that you want. Same here, you do the same thing.
Ma'am, we can't see the screen.
You can't? Okay, let me show you. Where's the page? Okay, here. Now it's visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So second is dimensions. You have to create an account here. Okay, if you want to research here. But what? There's no need to pay anything. You can just go through. Okay. Let me open the resource library. This is the guide on how to use dimensions. There is something called Review Finder. You can find the reviews here. You can use article publication. Like if you want to publish something, you can also explore it here. And here you can find the research. Here. So this is like a demo. You can use it to see how you can research. Basically, there are 5 steps. First is how you can see there are filters on the side. Same filter that was in PubMed. To access this, you have to log into it. Right now, I'm logged out of the device, so I can't access it right now. But it's same as we used in PubMed. Okay, you can write down called Research Rabbit. So it's like a Spotify for paper. It basically helps you in like you have to, when you search for one paper. Let me show you. Give me a second. Okay. This is the brother of Research Rabbit. It's called Connected Papers. Again, let's say I want to search for job satisfaction. Same thing that we like did before. And burnout. If you look down, it is basically showing you a lot of options. You can directly use this, like, or you can just say build a graph. Now what's doing? It's basically creating a literature graph for you, where there will be different papers that are based on these two topics: job selection and burnout. Here, so if you can look at it, there are a lot of papers that are on this topic. If I click on this Cole 2000, on the right hand side, you can see there is the abstract available for the paper. So I don't have to go through paper to paper to check what is written. I can just click on one and I can see the abstract. Now, if you want to open PDF, you can click on this PDF option here. It will take you to the whole full paper. So this is how you use these corrected papers. Here you can also filter it. Like here, if you can see, here the results are from 1994 to 2011. Let's say I want to see 10 years. I want to see 2001 to 2011. Now the paper has decreased. Now there are only 15 to 16 studies available. So you can use this like this. If you want to change the graph, you can click on some other paper. You will see all the information related to paper there. Again, you can open the PDF, or you can go to directly to the publication page that is there. You can see what kind of journal was it, who was the author, how many citations. Citation means how many people have used this paper as a part of their literature review. So this also shows a lot of credibility and reliability. You can use this also corrected papers, or you can just simply use different journals. Like there is a database called Scopus. Scopus basically has all the relevant good published papers and journals in the world. It's like a directory, but instead of phone directory, it's a literature directory or a research directory. Let's say I want to find something related to management. So there are 896 management journals that are there. I'll select one. I'll select this International Journal of Information Management. I'll just copy this up and search it. I just opened it, International Journal of Information Management. Here I can publish my articles, or I can access all already published articles that are there. So if I don't want to go to PubMed or Dimensions or Connected Papers, I just want to go to direct source. I can go here and I can access all the papers that has been published in the specific journal. So there's this paper towards explaining the effect of human technology on human agency and digital transformation. It's the latest paper. I can preview that. I can see the abstract here. I can also view the full PDF that is there here. So it's very easy for you if you want to access any kind of data. Similarly, you can use other journals also, but just please use Scopus list only. Do not use any other kind of list. Scopus or Web of Sciences. There are two types of database that we basically use, WS or Scopus. It's called father of databases because it contains all the journals and books that are published. Okay, so you can use these all. I think that will help you a lot, and you can access these free of cost. There is no money involved. Rest, there are a lot more, but WS, World of Science and all, they are subscription based, so you can't just access it. I hope this is enough, right? If you find more that are free of cost, I'll share it with you later. Is it fine, Raj?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, nice. Anything else from anybody else? Okay. So last week's recording has been uploaded on the module. You guys can just go to the KINT portal and access through it. And if you guys please start your assignments from this week onwards, because I am sure you have assignments from other subjects also. And once you're done, please send it to me for review, and please do it within time, because last day of submission is 16th. So please keep it in mind like that. Okay. Any other confusion you have, you can ask, or you can always ask me in next class or on WhatsApp. Okay? Is it fine with you?
Perfect, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes,
Okay.
so far
Okay.
perfect.
Okay. Farhan, what about you?
Okay.
Okay. So I'll send you guys the PPT, and I'll send you some article and video links. You can just go through it once for this research and process and all those things. Okay. So I'll meet you next week. Till then, take care. Do work assignments. Have a great week ahead.